Just because we've done something the same way for a long time doesn't mean we'll continue on that path. Someone once told me, if you stay on the right track forever, eventually you'll get hit by a train. We've always been a little bit unique. For a long time, our kind of self-deprecating humor, we would say we're the best kept secret in printing. We do so many things well, really a lot of diversity of product, of customer, but growth is very important for a business, so we're trying to get the word out there. We're very fortunate to have very high retention rates of customers due to our focus on quality and service, but now, as we add capacity, which obviously is something that we discussed throughout the tour, we really want to bring new customers into the fold here. It's a big focus. My grandfather, who was the penultimate salesman, he was the one in charge of bringing all the work in when we started as a true mom and pop. He picked the name Allied because he wanted to be first in the phone book. That's the story behind it. Well, exactly. So I think one of the kind of pillars of the company throughout our 75 years is we always want to be at the forefront of technology. To be able to offer the latest and greatest and have the right tools to service our customers has always been very important. Reinvesting in technology and really aligning ourselves with the right partners, because like we talked about before, it's a recurring relationship, it's a marriage. And so we try to align ourselves with key suppliers that are progressive, that are investing their money in R&D, just like we are, because this is how we have to stay competitive and grow. Allied's true secret sauce, our competitive advantage, it really is service. Now that word almost gets thrown around, I think, a little bit these days, but we are who we are, we say what we do. I've used the analogy that selling printing is like selling insurance. You don't know how good of a partner you have until something goes wrong. Maybe it's a customer, their files are late, they're having problems with their data, the mail plan's gonna change, they need help with structural design for a packaging project, a substrate recommendation, a special technique with UV inks and coatings. That's where we can really be a resource to customers to help them troubleshoot. I think by doing so, that creates a bond that really is lasting, and you're able to demonstrate your value over and over to customers in this way. And it's funny because from a product and vertical standpoint, all the different industries that we support, we're very, very diversified. We don't have one customer that represents over 5% of our overall revenue. We're getting to the point where we're able to share ideas through case studies that maybe are impactful and have worked in one industry. Why wouldn't they work in another industry? I mean, there's great examples of cruise line customers in the travel and leisure sector that are borrowing or maybe even stealing ideas that have worked in the automotive industry. Why not? It's like Steve Jobs said, great art is steal. So we try to position ourselves as that educational resource to our customers, where we've got a lot of tools in our tool belt, and there's a lot of different ways to sort of skin that proverbial cat. We have customers that for a long time, all they thought that we did was retail in-store signage. That market, obviously through COVID, took a big hit. And so we're having more and more conversations with those folks about their direct mail programs, about their consumer packaging. I think customers are really excited to hear this, because if they're happy with a supplier in one area, why not grow that relationship in the same way that we have with our suppliers? I can't name anybody else that still does that, but to us, it's not that transactional relationship of, well, we printed what we gave you. We've got a team, a 3-shift department of English majors with a print background, proofreading not just typographical areas, it could be style, it could be a missing folio in the corner, and we're not manipulating customer files without their consent. We're asking the question, hey, our proofreading department noticed this, do you want us to change it? Is it right? Is it wrong? We give them the option. Our company motto has always been, you can relax because Allied doesn't. Our customers know if they place a job with Allied, we have our eyes on it. And we're looking out for them because their success is ours. And I think all of our 450 employees here, they know that and they understand that. My father not only was my dad, he was my best friend and the greatest mentor I ever had. He was a brilliant production mind. I was always a little more focused on the customer and sales side. We made a great team working together because we thought so differently. And fortunately, we were able to work alongside each other for several years. And then before his untimely passing, he was diagnosed with cancer, and unfortunately we lost him to that. And I had always known that I wanted to lead this company into the future, honor my father, honor my grandparents, the founders of Allied Printing. And to me, leadership is very simple. When people ask me, what do you do? What is your job? Printing, ultimately, when it comes down to it, my job is to surround myself with the best people, give them the tools to be successful, and really stay out of their way. The way I look at it is I work for every employee here. So if there's something that they need that they're not getting, or even an idea that they have that they want to share with me to see something through, I always want to make myself available and accessible in that way and continue that vibe, that feel that this is a small family-owned company. Obviously, we've grown a lot. The company's tripled in size in a 10-year period, but that feel, that culture has remained the same. And so I think, of course, leading by example, is really important. But as the company grew and grew and grew, I quickly realized that I could not have my hands on everything. And it's really hard to let go and to delegate. To do so, you have to have a lot of trust. And so building relationships with the key employees and leadership in different areas and empowering them to do what they think is right, to me, that's leadership. We like to align ourselves with best in class when it comes to technology. We also pride ourselves on being open-minded. Just because we've done something the same way for a long time doesn't mean we'll continue on that path. Someone once told me, if you stay on the right track forever, eventually you'll get hit by a train. And so at the time, we're evaluating not just the technology, of course that's an important piece, but also the people, the leadership, the management, at our key suppliers. And it's important to us to be a significant customer, to have a voice in their R&D. And we've seen that with, I think Koenig Bauer is a terrific example where, our relationship goes all the way up to the top with family-owned businesses where there's this dialogue and, and give and take, which I think you have to have in any relationship. Oh, absolutely. I'm super passionate about, the infrastructure, the CapEx, the equipment, the tools. And I think it's really important that I'm personally involved. The way that I do it though is I like to involve the manager of the department where the equipment's going to be going. We'll start off by assessing a need. We'll calculate an ROI. And then of course, we'll look at different platforms, different offerings, different suppliers, and decide what is right for us today and going into the future. Generally, when we go to our supplier, we have at least one, maybe a couple configurations in mind. It's based on data. We track through our MIS system every single job that we produce, and there was a time where over 70% of our work was 6-color or more. Of course, a lot of that, has changed, so it's important to utilize the data that we have and not use a pre-existing bias, because sometimes you have a pretty good feel for where the numbers are going to fall and what the needs are, but other times you'll be surprised by that. You really will. I think it's a constant process of having our finger on the pulse, looking at maybe the log jams, the bottlenecks, looking at outsourcing, looking at where are we relying on our key partners for gaps that exist. Perfect example is the acquisition that we went through recently where we acquired XL Color, which is a digital large format company. So this was previously not an offering that we had, but we see opportunities with our current and future customers, and we decided this is a market that we want to get into and this is the best way. Versatility is very important to us. It's not unique for us to be printing a 2-color job on a 40-pound offset, and then the next project could be on a 16-point SBS with 7 colors and 2 specialty coatings. That versatility is really important. And we also believe very strongly in redundancy, because you can create, if you're not careful, a lot of different bottlenecks throughout your process if one job or one customer has to be on one specific machine or with one specific operator. Being as large as we are and supporting Fortune 500 companies across the country, redundancy is really important. That's why we're able to run our entire facility on our on-site generators when the grid goes down, when we lose power. And that's why we never just buy one of something, because this is manufacturing. Equipment, will require maintenance cycle. You'll have, things come up where you've got to wait for a part coming from Germany, from Japan. But honestly, that's not our customer's problem. That's on us. They're never going to hear that from Allied. When it comes to, what I call foundational investments, like the press behind me, you can't miss on that. You've got to know that you're not only buying the right press, the right configuration, but from the right supplier, because that's going to be an ongoing relationship. So like I said before, you've got to use the data that you have and focus not only on what markets you're in and what customers you serve now, but what are we missing on? What are our gaps? And so you pull all of these things together, and you also involve the team, because the folks on the floor, every day, they know what they see and they know what they don't see, and they'll also see the trends. So I think, giving employees a voice that really do care about the company and the future is super important. One of our core values here at Allied is being nimble. So our ability to be flexible when it comes to trying something new or rush jobs, speed to market, is now more important than ever. This is critical for our customer base. And so before I talked about redundancy of equipment, what we try to do, which is different from what a lot of other manufacturers, whether they're printers or not, is we aim to run at between 60 and 80% of utilization. If you're making widgets, which is not what we do, and you're making a commoditized product, obviously you want to be at 100% utilization. There's efficiencies built in that, right? For us, we always want to have excess capacity so that speed to market is always there, and that we can, without the blink of an eye, without any additional investments, we can take on a significant new customer, a significant new project, and be able to push it through. Everybody wants to grow, but are you positioned to grow? Can you handle that new $10 million customer? A lot of folks can't. Something's got to give. And the way that we operate, we're always ready for that opportunity. I think being opportunistic, being nimble is super important, because you don't know what's around the corner.